Good evening. Welcome to Noah's Natural Foods monthly webinar. My name is Sarah Stark, and I am a registered nutritionist and certified fitness professional. I've been practicing now for about 10 years, and I've been working with Noah's now for about 10 years as well. So I'm excited to welcome you to our November webinar. For this webinar, we are going to be chatting about the immune system and cold sores, because a lot of people seem to be struggling with cold, flu, and getting cold sores at this time of year. So we're going to talk about all that stuff. So if you're online, you can say hello. If you have any questions, please feel free to shoot them out. We'll also have a little Q&A period near the end of the webinar. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and get started. This is also available on the replay. So we're going to leave this up, and for the next 24 hours, I'll be watching this. So if you do have any questions that you didn't get a chance to ask during the live video, post them within the next 24 hours and I will stay tuned. Hi Hassan, hi Miriam, thank you for joining. So we're going to get started. First, just a really quick overview of the immune system, so we're all on the same page. We have a good grasp of what we're going to be talking about for the next 20 minutes or so. So the immune system it's a pretty complex system, but we're just going to look at three different components, and that's really going to be the white blood cells, the WBCs, the lymphatic system, and the research is now showing that the microbiome is actually the most responsible part of your immune system. So that's up to 70%. That's pretty amazing. So we really want to focus on the microbiome as well. So what we're going to talk about to start is how we can start to balance that microbiome. And the first thing we want to look at is diet. Now, this is also an essential part of fighting or controlling your cold sores. And if you understand this next component that I'm going to go over with you, this is going to have a massive change on your cold sore management, how many you get, and if you get outbreaks again. So keep in mind, this is not a curable virus, HSV1 and HSV2, but you can manage it, absolutely. So it is something that you can take control over. So that's what we're going to talk about during this webinar as well. So the first thing that's so important for the immune system is the diet and the microbiome. And we're just going to quickly touch on diet. And with diet, the things you really want to focus on is eliminating sugars, eliminating processed foods. Hi, Susan. Susan just logged on. Thanks for joining. You got here just in time. We're just starting. So we're starting with diet. And I just said you eliminate sugars and processed foods. So that's key to starting to build a healthy immune system. And really it goes down to the microbiome. So the microbiome is in our gut, and that's the balance of the good and the bad bacteria. Now, with the bad bacteria, they actually feed on sugars and grow quite a bit faster than the good. So we really want to focus on providing our system with good bacteria and really minimizing our intake that will feed the bad. Hence, no sugars, processed foods. So what we want to do instead is we want to look at increasing our fiber, and we want to look at adding foods that are rich in probiotics, and those would be fermented foods. So you could look at things like kombucha or sauerkraut, miso, but you really want to make sure that these are fermented, unpasteurized, and raw, because once you pasteurize these products, the heat will actually kill all the good stuff. So with yogurts, I'm going to quickly touch on this one. If you think that yogurts are a great source of probiotics, you could be wrong. So read your yogurt label. If you have any kind of flavorings in there, if you have a strawberry flavor or some fruit added in, chances are you have a lot of sugar in that yogurt. And so as I mentioned a minute ago, the bad bacteria grows a little bit faster than the good. Hi Anson, thanks for joining. So you really want to limit that sugar. So if you have yogurt and think that this is a good thing for you, and you have a flavor in there and that sugar amount is high, it might just be a treat, not so much a medicinal food. So we want to look at adding in the foods I mentioned as our probiotic source, and we want to increase our fiber. Another really important part of diet, and this is especially important for cold sores, is you want to make sure that you're getting more lysine than you are arginine. And the reason for that is that arginine will actually promote the herpes virus to replicate, whereas lysine actually signals to the virus to become dormant or to stop replication. So A high lysine diet is essential for fighting cold sores. And that is your big game changer. The next thing we're going to talk about, once we go over the food part of the microbiome, now we're going to go over the probiotics. So this is where you can look at supplementing probiotics into your everyday regime as extra immune system support. Now, a great probiotic that I like to use is the New Roots Acidophilus Ultra. I find that to be a really effective probiotic, especially with clients I've worked with as well. And you can get all of the products I'm going to mention at Noah's, of course. And if you'd like, I'm going to post on here after all the products we've talked about, when the best time to use them is, and where you can find them at Noah's or online with Noah's. So, the probiotics and the diets we've got covered. So you really want to make sure that those two are the first step to building a healthy immune system and fighting off cold sores. The next component that we are going to talk about is everyday immune system support. Now you can do this a few different ways. You can do this with diet, and you want to make sure it's anti-inflammatory and a probiotic-rich diet like we mentioned. But you can also do this by adding in different herbs or supplements into your daily regime. So we talked about the probiotics. Another one that I like to use every day, especially during cold and flu season, are medicinal mushrooms. So these are very synergistic with our body. If you have a mushroom allergy, I use Purica, and these are grown in a specific way, so you're not going to be exposed to the microbes and the fungus. So these are safe for everyone. Great to add in every day, and you can actually use this over the season, but you can increase the dose when you feel like you might be fighting off something. So the one that I really like is Purica Immune 7, and that's because it's a really nice complex of different medicinal mushrooms that are working on your immune system, but they're also really great for an energy boost. And if you're active like myself, then this is awesome for repair and recovery for athletes. So that's Purica Immune 7, so keep that one in mind. And again, that will be in your shopping list. Now, another daily immune booster, and this is a really important one as well for the winter. One of the things that I work with in practice, and one of my passions, is working with the winter blues. And so the winter blues and the immune system, a lot of the supplements you would use actually complement each other. Vitamin D is essential for a healthy immune system, and it also helps with mood regulation too. So you really want to look at adding in a vitamin D. I like to use the CanPrev vitamin D, and the reason for that is, this is actually a very cool reason, especially when it comes to cold sores and herpes, is that the CanPrev comes in a coconut oil. And there's a component to coconut oil that is called lauric acid, and that actually inhibits the herpes virus as well, and it helps boost immune system. So that's something that you might want to look at adding. I like to add in my MCT oil. I use Bulletproof Brain Octane and their MCT oil every day. So I get both components of the caprylic acid, which helps balance the microbiome, which we talked about in last month's webinar, and then we can use the lauric acid from the MCT oil to help with the antiviral and immune boosting properties. So you might want to look at picking some of that up as well. And also using coconut oil in your cooking every day. That's an awesome way to give a little bit of an immune booster. So another one that we can look at, and there's some really interesting research behind this one, is green tea, but there's a derivative of green tea called EGCGs. And what this has shown in research, and this is pretty mind-blowing, is that it can actually inhibit HSV2, which is genital herpes. It can inhibit that virus within 5 minutes. It can inhibit oral herpes HSV1 in up to 40 minutes. So that's pretty cool research that's out there. You might want to consider adding in green tea into your everyday regime. Another amazing component about green tea is that it has L-theanine, and that brings about mental relaxation and focus. So if you're one of those people that has racing thoughts all day or all night, green tea throughout the day might help you there too. Another important aspect is that you want to look at adding greens every day. And so an easy way to do this is adding greens into your diet like salads, but a lot of times when you're on the go, that can be a little bit difficult. So what you can add in instead is progressive veggie greens. And I've been using this product for a few years. It's a very full spectrum product. You have your greens, your vegetables, you have probiotics in there as well. So it's a great product. It tastes amazing. My favorite one is the pineapple coconut flavor. And that's a really easy one to mix into water. You can put it into your smoothie or smoothie bowl, but you really want to make sure that you're getting greens every day. And it's alkalizing, where it's nutrient dense, but then we can also go back to the white blood cell count. So your liver is pretty much your blood filter. So any kind of support that you can give to your liver is going to in turn help your immune system with the white blood cell count. So consider adding the progressive veggie greens into, and again, they are very tasty, a little bit dangerously tasty. Another one I'm going to quickly mention is there's a throat spray by Vogel. It's called Echinacea Force, and I love this one because you actually have bacteria starting in the back of your throat, and then it runs all the way down your digestive system. So if you can target a little bit of a scratch in your throat directly with a spray with something like echinacea, which is antiviral, then that's going to give you more benefit too, and hopefully you can just kind of kill it before it grows into a big cold. Now this one also has sage in it, and sage is known to be a little bit drying, so if you're feeling mucousy, this is a great spray to use. It's also really refreshing, so I really like this one. Another one that we're going to add in, and this is really important, especially if you have cold sores and if you're trying to manage them, is L-lysine. Now, I also use the Purica one. I'm a big proponent of Canadian companies, of local companies, and so I really like to support them. Purica has awesome quality products. So we went over their Immune 7 for medicinal mushrooms, but they also have an L-lysine. And so L-lysine, as I mentioned in the beginning with the diet, that is essential in fighting cold sores. And if you're a vegetarian or vegan, then this is a really important point for you. Your chances are your diet's going to be high in arginine. So you're probably eating a lot of nuts, a lot of seeds as protein intake, and these are loaded with arginine and not a lot of lysine. So there's a possibility that the foods that you're taking in, although they're healthy, if you have herpes, cold sores, genital herpes, these foods could actually be triggering your outbreaks. So it's really important to understand which foods can trigger outbreaks and which foods can inhibit them. In this situation, you might want to work with a professional. For example, I have recipes, meal plans, and programs designed specifically to help people boost their immune system and fight herpes as well. So you can always contact me. And another component, we talked about the coconut oil and the vitamin D, but you can also use the coconut oil topically. So if you do have an outbreak, you can put a little bit on topically onto your lip, and that will help fight the virus as well. A couple of my other favorite things are tea tree or neem extract. And you might want to look at essential oils. You can mix different oils in with the coconut oil to dilute it, but there is a lot of research behind essential oils showing that they have antifungal, antiviral, and antibacterial properties. I'm going to mention one right now, and that's going to be the cinnamon oil. And so cinnamon oil is actually an amazing antibacterial oil. It doesn't get enough credit, so I really enjoy using this one. It's a little bit strong and a little bit spicy, so a really great way to do it is Divine Essence has the Prana Winter Blend, and they have it in there, and then you have all these other oils that open up your airways and just make you feel amazing. So that's my favorite oil blend for the winter to help boost immune system, but then also just to help open everything up if you are feeling a little bit congested. So those are going to be the top products that I want to go over with you to help boost the immune system. And we're just going to quickly review a lot of the different things that we talked about. So we want to make sure that we have a healthy diet. We're eliminating sugars, we're eliminating processed foods. Instead, you're going to increase your fiber and you're going to increase probiotic rich foods, which you can find with fermented foods like kombucha, sauerkraut, miso, the list goes on and on. So look for unpasteurized, raw, fermented foods as a probiotic source and high fiber. You also, if you are a dairy eater, if you use yogurts as your probiotic source, check the sugar count. Make sure that they don't have any added sugars in there, because that's not really, it's just a treat. There's no therapeutic benefit to the probiotic source in the yogurt if there's any added sugars. My favorite way to support the microbiome is, let's see, so Donna, you're saying the Echinacea sore throat spray is not only antiviral, but also antibacterial and anti-inflammatory. Yes, you're absolutely right, Donna, and thank you for mentioning the anti-inflammatory part, because that is one of my favorite aspects. So the anti-inflammatory part, when you are starting to feel a little bit of a sore throat and you're starting to feel swollen, the spray is amazing for that. It actually does give you relief within moments. I have used it for many winters. It's one of the things I always have in my winter medicine cabinet. And I also wanted to mention, which is so exciting, that we're doing an A-Vogel giveaway. So make sure that you're entering to win, and you can actually try the throat spray. And again, just enter to win, and it's an amazing giveaway. It's one of my favorite products, so please, please, please participate so you can get one as well. I'm just going to check a couple more comments here. Let's see. Chris is saying that she loves the Progressive veggie and fruit powder. I do too. Yeah, it's so good. And for me, it's actually a little bit of a treat. So I'll take a tablespoon and mix it in with a little bit of water. It's a little bit thicker, and it's just this sweet goodness. And Koi is saying, cool, thanks. Thanks for tuning in, Koi. And so I'm just going to quickly recap a couple other things. So we went over the diet, the probiotics. There are a lot of probiotics out there. If you are looking for a probiotic, one of my favorites is the New Roots Acidophilus Ultra. The reason I really like this one is because it's a multi-strain and it's a high dose. So if you are looking for a probiotic, just make sure that you're looking for one that has a few different strains in it, because as I mentioned, it actually starts in the back of your throat, all the bacteria for your digestive system, and goes right down to the colon. And each portion has a different good bacteria that can really support the immune system. So that's why you want to get a nice multi one. So Charmalie, is this all good for children? Yes, so the probiotics, absolutely. You can use, and they even have probiotic drops for babies. So probiotics can be used at absolutely any age. You can put it topically, and of course you can take them internally. The L-lysine is an amino acid. So if you have a child that is getting cold sore outbreaks, then L-lysine is just an amino acid. Your body knows what to do with the amino acids. These are the building blocks for proteins. And so the amino acid would be okay. You would just want to look into a child's dose for that, as opposed to the adult's dose, which research shows is 1,500 milligrams per dose to help inhibit the virus. As far as the other products, the medicinal mushrooms, yes, I would also look at just a children's dose for it, unless you're using them therapeutically. And again, Purica is one of those companies that if you contact them, they can go over the therapeutic doses with you. They also have a great website, so you can actually look at a lot of the information on their website. So if you are a little bit more curious about that. The Echinacea Force, I would also, I would say yes if there's a sore throat. I think all of the products actually that we mentioned. Now, I did mention the essential oil, and I actually wanted to show to you one of my favorite ways to use the essential oils. It is a diffuser, and this actually comes with a removable pad that you can put your essential oils on, and you can either stick this or hang this in your closet. I like to put it beside my bed. I also have a couple in my closets. I use different oils for it. So this would be a really great way to get your essential oils, and then you can put it beside the pillow. It's also kind of nice. Sometimes I'll throw one in my purse if I just want, a little bit of a refresher. And again, you can get these at Noah's, and this is the Aroma Pod with Divine Essence. So that's a really cool way that you can use it. And I'm just going to see if anyone else has any questions. One thing I didn't mention, and I really should, I just feel like sometimes it's a given, and we all need to be reminded of it though, is drink water. You need to drink a lot of water. It's going to flush out your system. Your body is amazing at providing its own daily detox, but you can provide the extra support so your body can really do its job. So the way that you can really do this is drink a lot of water. eat a lot of greens, and make sure that you're getting a lot of sleep as well. So sleep is also an essential component of building up a healthy immune system. When you're sleeping, your body is cleaning up free radicals, which is why green tea is also a great thing, loaded with antioxidants. And so your body's doing a lot of work to clean up what's going on and to fight things off and to rest and repair. So don't cheat yourself out of a good night's sleep. That might be the best investment that you give yourself for the next day. And I'm just going to see if anyone else has any more questions here. And I'm also just going to remind you again, please enter for the Avogel throat spray draw. Again, it's one of my favorites and it really helps with the winter. So you could get your own. So if we're good for questions, I'll give one last call. I'm going to post shortly after this. I'm going to post a little chart with all the products that we talked about, what they do, so whether it's balancing the microbiome or whether they have an antiviral action or anti-inflammatory action. That's going to be all available in a chart for you. You can also contact me at EatEnergizeEvolve on Facebook, and I can work one-on-one with you. And I have amazing programs, recipes, meal plans to help you build a healthy immune system and to help build your defenses against cold sores. And the idea is that we would actually eliminate outbreaks. Now, keep in mind, this isn't something that's curable, but you could absolutely manage this. So, thank you for tuning in, Zaina. And we'll just give it another minute and see if anyone has any other questions. We're going to have another webinar coming up the first Tuesday of every month. So in December, tune in as well. Thanks, Hassan. So yeah, if you like the recommendations, please make sure you check the page for the list. And guys, enter for this throat spray. All right, so we're going to wrap it up. I will see you guys next month. Thanks for tuning in. Again, I'm going to watch this for the next 24 hours. It's available on replay. If you have some more questions, please feel free to ask. Enter to win the draw. It's the Avogel throat spray. And you'll have your shopping list available in the chart as well. All the products are available at Noah's. Check out Noah's. And let's see. Oh, just got another message sent in. Oh, Charmalie, I just got your message again. So again, if you want to use any of these things for children, just check for the children's dose on the label, or you can actually call the companies because they have a ton of information available when you call them too. So if you ever have product questions, or you can actually ask the people in Noah's. They have very knowledgeable staff, so you can always check in there too. Okay, guys, well, it's been another great webinar. Thank you so much for tuning in. This one was on immune system and cold sores. Tune in again next month. It's the first Tuesday of every month, and I hope you all have a healthy week. This is Sarah Stark from EatEnergizeEvolve, and you're watching the Noah's Natural Foods Monthly Webinar. Take care.